Welcome to the 2025 Women's Economic Opportunity Conference. Yay! We are here. Such a great day. What a beautiful drive this morning. I had, at least. I'm sure many of you enjoyed the sunrise. My name is Fauna Hurley, and I am the business liaison in Senator Welch's office, and I have truly enjoyed working with so many partners in creating this day. Before we begin, kindly silence your cell phones and say hello to those seated around you. Vermonters from across, yes, there you go. Hello, hello, hello. Vermonters from across the state have come together, connected by their drive to learn, meet new friends, and maybe yearning for that nudge to start that business or make that next career move. I'd like to thank Vermont State University for hosting this conference. They have generously donated this space every year, year after year, and I particularly like to thank Hillary Linehan. Where are you, Hillary? No, where is she? Where are you? She's hiding. She's around. She's amazing, and she's my point of contact here, helping with everything, all the logistics, food, signage, making this day run smoothly. And thanks so much to the Sodexo staff for keeping us fed and caffeinated throughout this day. Yes, thank you, everybody. The WEOC Planning Committee solicited and selected workshops and promoted this event with a $0 marketing budget. And so somehow you heard about this event and you came, so likely it was the WEOC committee that helped spread the word and get you here today. So if you're on the WEOC committee, please stand up so we can give you a round of applause. There's more than two of them, I promise. They're around. And thank you to our workshop and panel presenters who have volunteered their time and talents to share with you today. Please stand up, workshop and panel presenters. Sincere thanks to my colleagues in the Vermont office of Senator Welch. Shout out to Hannah and Liv in particular. We are here to help with any questions you may have throughout the day. We also have a casework table if you have questions about a particular federal matter. Senator Welch, staff, please stand up. And wave in the back. And thank you to our closing panel presenters, Money Matters from First Paycheck to Retirement. This will be a full group panel right here this afternoon. We will have coffee to carry us through, and this will be an interactive and engaging panel with time for questions and topped off with a cherry. Literally, we'll have an ice cream party to close out the day. After our speaking program, please head to your first workshops that will begin at 10:15. Lunch will be provided in Maury Hall, and after lunch, please mingle, but head back here, meet with exhibitors, and network with coffee to power you through. Plan to head to your afternoon workshop at 1:15 and be back here for the closing panel at 2:30. Finally, we could not put this event together without the fiscal sponsorship from our partners at the Vermont Community Foundation and the Vermont Women's Fund. Thank you so much, Emily Bush, Executive Director of the Vermont Women's Fund, and to Bo Elliott Ramos for help with our sponsors. The Vermont Community Foundation plays an essential role in our communities across the state. And with that, it is now my privilege to invite Emily Bush from the Vermont Women's Fund to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here with you today. A big thank you to Senator Peter Welch and Fauna Hurley and the rest of the Senator's team for their leadership and for continuing to champion this important event. I'm Emily Bush, Director of the Vermont Women's Fund. Along with the Vermont Community Foundation, we're proud to serve as fiscal sponsors of the Women's Economic Opportunity Conference. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge the generous support of our fellow event sponsors. Their commitment is what makes today possible. And a huge shout out to our planning committee. Everyone is listed on the back of the program. Let's hear it for them. The Vermont Community Foundation has been home to the Vermont Women's Fund since its inception more than 30 years ago. As leaders, grant makers, and advisors, our mission is to help women and girls envision the very best for themselves and to make sure those visions become reality. We know that broad cross-sector support for women and girls is essential. That's why gatherings like this one, are so meaningful. When we come together to connect, to learn, to build, we lay the foundation for a future where economic opportunity and well-being aren't just possible, but assured. Thank you for spending your day here, in community and relationship, and in solidarity with women across Vermont. Before we dive into the rest of the day, I want to offer a gentle challenge to all of us in the room. Let's resist the urge to collect business cards or LinkedIn connections just for the sake of it. Instead, let's try to just make a few genuine connections, conversations that go beyond small talk, that spark ideas that feel real. And when you do, make a plan to stay in touch. Not a vague, let's connect sometime, but something solid. Maybe it's a follow-up email, a coffee next week, or even a shared Google Doc with ideas. Let's make this more than a moment. Let's make it a start. And now I have the distinct honor of introducing Senator Peter Welch. Senator Welch has made a lasting impact on the lives of women and girls across our state. He's been a consistent advocate for pay equity and working to expand opportunity for women and gender diverse people. I'm grateful for his leadership and his commitment to continuing this conference, ensuring that Vermont remains a place where women in business and the workforce can thrive. Please join me in welcoming Senator Welch.
Thank you very much, and it's really wonderful to be here at this event that was started, of course, by Senator Patrick Leahy with his wife Marcelle, and it has become something really important every year to convene with you here at Vermont State College. And I'm delighted to be here with my wife Margaret, who had her incredible own story, newspaper writer right out of college, magazine editor, legislator, Spanish teacher at Sharon Academy, and Public Utility Commission. Did I say legislator? She's always given me pretty good advice about how to vote. But you know, I also, a few other thank yous. Emily, thank you so much. And I just want to reemphasize what Emily said. There's so much social media and interactions where you just deflect and ricochet off of one stimulation after another, and the advice to try to focus and have a meaningful interaction is really, really good advice. So Emily, thank you for reminding us of that. You know, the situation, the political situation we're in, I'm not going to go into it because it would be too depressing, and we're here for a good day. But the thing that inspires me about this day in the extraordinary workshops that await us is they're very intimate. They're very personal. It's about specific engagement in ways that help an individual have some confidence and sense of who they are, and to activate that sense of self and confidence that if you just be who you are and embrace that and then work on it, you can make a real difference. And the other aspect of that that's so inspiring to me is that, you know, in the macro political world, if we start talking about what's going on, and it's important to do that, our ability to control that is small. The importance of us being engaged in it, nevertheless, is large. But what's within our control is how we have confidence in our own selves, how we are able to have enough generosity of spirit that we can pay attention and listen carefully to that person who's next to us, and how we can encourage folks to do things within their control, and that is pay attention. It's make a cookie. It's care for a child. It's letting people know that the intimate actions that we can take in life really, really make a difference to our well-being. It allows us to feel positive about ourselves. And that is so essential, so that even if we're talking about movements in saving our democracy, it comes from a place of internal peace and internal strength that we have to have ourselves in order to move out. And you know, Margaret, you've been so fantastic at this, because in women, you know, with the challenges that you have, where you have professional aspirations of what it is you want to do, and it can be from running a business, it can be doing digital marketing, it can be teaching, it really can be whatever it is that inspires you to act. But the caregiver responsibilities that are primarily been the burden of women, to the benefit of, by the way, to the benefit of men and all of us. There's a dimension in that that is so essential to the well-being of our communities. And that is what I find so inspiring, that in the midst of all of those career things that Margaret did, along the way, she raised 3 kids. And I don't know if you know this, but that isn't necessarily always easy. So I just want to say how moved I am to be here with you, and to see the program that we have, where there's so many folks who are going to be sharing their experiences along the way with others who want to move ahead along the way, but where your professional aspirations are also anchored in your intimate relations, because that really, really matters to the well-being of our state of Vermont, our communities, and our nation. So I see you as real leaders in what is required in order for us to get from where we are to a better place, where there's real mutual respect, where there's a sense that building community is extremely important, maybe above all else. So it's just terrific to be here again, and I want to thank everybody who's come, and I want to thank all of my staff who's helped organize this. I want to recognize Patrick and Marcel Leahy, who established this and helped sustain it, and it's my honor to try to carry this on. And we could not have a better motivator than the Mirna, who is about to speak. And I had seen some of her videos, and I was kind of intimidated about meeting her. But she made me calm down, you know, and we had a nice little visit. And then Julie Kelly, who's going to be here with a great career in journalism, is going to interview her, and we've been sharing some of her experiences when she was a reporter in Louisiana during Hurricane Katrina. But nobody can do better than the Mirna, where it comes to finding a way to take who you are, to embrace who you are. It's not about bragging, it's just embracing. And then to act and to accept not just the responsibility, but the opportunity each of us has to take who we are, whoever we are, and be that person we want to be. And it's in being active, it's being engaged, that we help to realize our own potential and to help others to do the same. So I want to invite to the stage the Mirna and Julie Kelly. Thank you so much.
Yes, it does. Hello. Because the whole senator are not shy.
Hi.
Who's in the interview?
No, I get to ask the questions. And actually, I promised Mirna that I wouldn't fangirl too much. But I gotta say, it's pretty hard not to fangirl. She is shattering stereotypes and totally blazing trails as an ultra runner. Competing in over 100 races, 50K and 100-mile ultra marathons. Yeah, most of us can't even imagine. She started running again after a health scare as an adult and created a blog, Fat Girl Running. And it led to appearances in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, the Kelly Clarkson Show. She was on the cover of Women's Running magazine, chosen as a National Geographic Adventurer of the Year. She's the author of A Beautiful Work in Progress, inspiring all of us to embrace the delight of our own beings and blaze our own trails. Her partners include LL Bean, Lululemon, Darn Tough Vermont, and Epic Pass. I just want to thank you so much for letting me be up here with you and drill you with really important questions.
Thank you for having me, y'all.
I'm going to start with a quote. And it's something that I think as women, we feel and we want more of. This is your quote. "This body is fierce, beautiful, and unapologetic. It's meant to move through the world as it wishes, lifting, walking, and running, rolls and all. Love handles, bouncy boobs, curves, tummy, butt, back fat, and all. How in the world did you get the confidence to feel that free and accepting of yourself?"
Wow. Okay, so that passage is from the end of my book.
Which is a bestseller, by the way. Thank you. And, the word confidence is from the Latin, I think it's confidere, to have faith in yourself. And I think for me, I used to be very shy and very timid, if you can imagine that. I know it's very hard, but because my face is always in front of a camera and I'm on social media and such, but I used to be very shy, but I'm also a performing artist. And so that allowed me the chance to be up on stage all the time and to practice having confidence. Because sometimes you just have to fake it until you make it. And I know a lot of people say that, and it's really overplayed and overdone. But in that case, I think having confidence is it's a muscle that you build. And, well, some people are naturally confident. A lot of men. Anyway, and so, hashtag not all men. But I think, particularly as a woman, I've had to definitely practice that. And I had the opportunity to go to an all-girls boarding school for high school. It was the Master's School in New York, in Westchester County. And the women there were leaders. The young women there we were the leaders of the school. We were the athletes of the school. We were the jocks of the school. We were the musicians. We were the rock band people. And I'm not me. I sing opera. But and so it made it very sort of natural for us to be able to practice that. And then when I went to college, it was just a thing that I did. I led some organizations. And it was just a very easy thing for me to do because I had so much practice and so much support from other women. And so I think, and also, I love what I do, and so all the things that I do, and it just makes it easier to get out there and do it.
Awesome. Your star rose quickly. For those of you that don't know, Mirna showed up in a newspaper article, the Wall Street Journal, and then all of a sudden it was like everybody realized there is an epic woman who we need to know more about. And you hit this point where you had a stable job, you were about to sign another contract to stay at a school, and yet you had this tug, and we know it, this internal instinct like I should be doing something more. And also sometimes we're lucky enough to have people externally give us pushes. Take us to the moment where you are sitting in your office at your school and somebody walks in.
Okay, if you were at the Human Resources Conference the other day, 2 days ago, you probably have heard this story. But I'll take it back just a little bit more. 2017, I'm teaching full-time, but I'm getting all of these opportunities to just do really incredible things. Speaking, showing up at races, doing these just like, doing media interviews and writing articles and having articles written about me, and it was really cool, but I was still trying to teach a full-time job at a boarding school down in Georgia. And I get hired by JCPenney, the winter of 2017. Remember JCPenney? They're still online, by the way. And they want me to do a commercial for them. And I'm like, oh, cool, like I've never been in a commercial. But I'd done shoots before, and they paid me a quarter of my teaching salary for 7 hours of work. That was one of the first nudges. That was definitely external. And I asked myself, is this what people do? Like, can I do this? This is so cool. And so I did this shoot, and the same day of the shoot, I was in Framingham, right outside of Boston, and I was also doing my book tour. It was the same year as my book tour that I got paid to do, which was crazy. Merrill was a sponsor of mine, and this video that I was presenting during the book tour had been produced by REI. And I'm in the hotel preparing for my book tour stop after this amazing shoot. It snowed. I was with this other public figure, and we did yoga. We ran trails. We got to be on camera. It was super fun. And I'm getting ready for my book tour stop, and I'm listening to music. There's a song called "Golden" by Jill Scott. And I'm listening to it. I'd never really listened to the lyrics, but I was listening to the lyrics. And the tagline is, "Living my life like it's golden." And in listening to that song, the tide was shifting. I could feel something shifting in my life. And so I went and did my book tour stop. It was awesome. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm sitting in my classroom. I'm back at school. And this was a year that I had basically not been at work because I was traveling so much, and the school said, hey, you do you, just tell us when you're gonna be gone, and we'll pay you, and we'll call it a sabbatical. And so I'm sitting in my classroom, contracts are out, and I'm in the dark, drinking Starbucks, and having this conversation with myself. Should I stay? Should I go? I have all these opportunities right before me, and I would be stupid to not go ahead and take advantage of all of them. But then I was like, well, now I have health insurance. I've got a great job. I love most of my colleagues. I love all of my students. I love where I live. I lived in Georgia, in the southern Appalachians, and I got to look at the sunrise come over the mountains every single morning, and it was just a beautiful existence, but I was getting this nudge. And so this kid comes into my room while I'm having this conversation with myself in my head. Chris Davis, yay tall, 10th grade, braces, the whole nine. And I didn't really know Chris. I knew who he was, but I was head of equity and inclusion at the school. And any kid that came to see me that I didn't really know, I was ready to go to bat for them. And so I was posturing up. I was like, hey, Chris, what's up? What do you need? And he goes, oh, I just came to say, I love you, Miss Valerio. And I was like, oh, wow. It came out of nowhere, but, well, thank you, Chris. I love you too. He's like, but I also wanted to say, you don't belong here. And I said, come again? He said, what I mean, Miss Valerio, this little 10th grader, he's like, I've been watching you. I've been watching your glow up, and I think your star is rising and you need to go follow it. I'm not normally speechless, but in that moment, I didn't know what to say, except for, wow, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for seeing that in me. Wow. And I was like, well, can I give you a hug? And of course, I had to ask consent. And it was pre-COVID, so we could hug. And so I hugged him and I said, thank you so much again. He's like, okay, bye, Miss Valerio. I was like, you're just gonna leave me? You're gonna leave that right on my foot and you're just gonna go? And so I knew what to do in that moment. So I called down to the head of school. It's a private school. They're not principals, they have heads of school. And I expected to talk to his administrative assistant, and he picked up. I'm like, oh, hey, Anthony, hi. I was just trying to make an appointment to come see you. And he's like, well, I'm here now. Do you have a free? Yes, I have a free. Come down. Oh, man. So I go downstairs, I walk through the door, and he says, I already know what this is about. Everybody else knew but me. And he was like, it's been so cool to watch this thing happen to you in front of our students. It's been so cool to see you engage in every single one of your passions and skills and talents and all that. And I am absolutely sad, but I'm so delighted to see that you continue to have these opportunities. Go get it. And then he asked me what I was gonna do with my son. My son was a student at the school. The school costs $55,000 a year, by the way. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm not keeping him here because I can't afford that. He's like, oh, he can stay for the faculty rate, which was $3,000 a year. You go figure out your stuff, and good luck. We love you. And so that is that little 10th grader, Chris Davis, who then brought his grandma to 3 of my book tour stops. His grandma. I'm like, but you've already seen the presentation. He's like, but I love you. That was the catalyst that sort of, pushed, or the catapult that, the catalyst that catapulted me forward.
We all need a Chris Davis.
Yes, we do. And we probably all have Chris Davises in our lives, but we don't necessarily listen to them or trust them.
I've got to say, one of the things as a Vermont girl, and my parents were from New Jersey, so I'm like a Vermont girl because I say I am. And so I'm sure they're...
Dirty jurors?
No, I'm a Vermont girl. And it makes me so darn proud that you chose our state.
I love it here. I love this state so much.
Love that you chose us. And I want you to tell us a little bit about why Vermont? What happened when you came here?
So I had been to Vermont several times to participate in the Catamount Ultra, which is a 50K that I never finished, but I kept coming every year because I would do a loop and then get hungry and stop and go have wood-fired pizza. But I enjoyed the race, and I enjoyed coming up here and staying in Stowe. I would bring my mom or I'd bring my husband, and we'd just have a great time. And I actually did some professional development up at St. John's one summer, and I just loved being here over the summer. So when I left school, I was kind of hanging out in New York with my family, because I'm from Brooklyn, don't get it twisted. And my friend invites me up to have a winter adventure. It's really cold, there's like 4 feet of snow on the ground, but I'm a cold weather person. I love the cold. And so I came up, stayed in Montpelier, and there was a Black Lives Matter flag hanging from the Unitarian Society and a pride flag. And I had been in a very, very conservative part of rural Georgia for the last 5 years. And it was just such a relief to see these things again, and to be surrounded by that. And I immediately said to myself, I think I need to live here. And this is driving into Montpelier, and I'd never been to Montpelier. And so I have this great week. We have a lesson at Bolton, a snowboard lesson, which I discovered was not my sport. We ate really good food. We did snowshoeing. We ran on trails in the snow, and it was just the thing that I needed at that moment. And so I found an apartment at the end of that week. A furnished apartment in the inn at Montpelier, which is not as fancy as it sounds. So I found an apartment and eventually moved out onto Main Street in Montpelier. And my son, when I pulled him out of school that year to travel with me, and he said to me, we were driving from somewhere, and I can't remember, in the car, but he's like, I think I really like it here. And I was worried for him because he's a black boy, we're in a majority white state, and he's very tall, he looks older than his age, and so I was really worried for him, but he loved it here. He absolutely flourished. He rose to be the second player in the Division II of the high school very quickly. People were like, I don't know where this kid came from. And in fact, the coach of the U32 basketball team came up to me after my speech in the HR conference and said, your son made my life hell for 2 years. But I really liked your speech.
Amen. You're like, thank you very much.
But I love it here. I love it here. I've had so many opportunities here. I immediately had a community here. And for my kind of work, I am a sponsored athlete in 3 areas, in skiing, that's the most recent area, skiing, cycling, and running. It's kind of the perfect place to be.
We're glad you're here. We sure are. I am so glad you brought up that JCPenney thing, because I was going to bring it up. Because as women, we do not talk enough about money. We just don't speak it. And if we don't speak it, we don't know it. We don't know what we are missing out on. And I was wondering how you price your worth without undervaluing it.
That's a great question. There was a time when I was afraid to ask for money, because I was just so honored to be in a place that they invited me to be. But I have this friend who is a millionaire. We went to the same school. We both went to Oberlin College of Arts and Sciences and Oberlin Conservatory. He's also a singer. And he would check in whenever I had a thing or something that came out in the news, or if I was in some TV special, he would say, well, how much did you ask for? And I would be ashamed. Well, I didn't know at first. I was like, oh yeah, well, I asked for $2,000. You were there, you were shooting for a week? Yeah. That's not enough, honey. I'm like, what is enough? Because I don't know. We don't know. I don't have anyone in my family that is a business person. And I didn't know who to ask or who to get mentorship from. But he said, what you should have asked for was $2,000 a day. And I was just blown away by that figure. Now I ask for way more. But, because I got a kid in college. Listen.
How much do you ask for a day?
Well, it depends on the ask. So if I'm doing a corporate speech, I'll ask for $15,000. If I'm doing something for a nonprofit, it ranges from whatever their budget is, because I'll look it up. I'll look up how much money they're bringing in, whether it's not for-profit or nonprofit, and then I will make my ask accordingly. But I actually don't do the asking anymore. I have an agent, and I have outsourced that because she's from South Africa, and she has a very interesting accent, and people are scared, and so they do whatever she asks. And I can't even I'm really good at accents, but that's not one that I can do. But I set my Siri to South African accent, and I'm scared of Siri. And so they typically just say yes. So it's good. I'm at a place where I can also say no to things, or, how about let's reconnect next year, maybe you have a different kind of budget, or sometimes I say yes. If I have the space and time and the ability to afford not to make as much as I'm asking, then I'll do it. But it's, a lot of us are just afraid of asking for money because there is a stigma, especially for women, to ask our value and then some. There was a guy that wanted to hire me to speak at a medical conference. And it would have been my first corporate sort of thing. And so he asked me what my fee was. And I said, I was still teaching, so I still had a salary, so I had no idea. I said, well, $2,100 for a 45-minute keynote. And he immediately emails me back. He said, I don't know you, but I'm going to give you some advice. Your initial baseline is to be $7,500. That's what you ask for. And again, blown away. What? Do you know what I could buy with $7,500? I didn't know about taxes and stuff back then. That's a different story, but anyway. But so I have all of these, now I have like mentors, and I was in a money mastermind for women that really trained us to have ease and confidence while asking for money and asking for people to pay our worth, because it's not that I'm just showing up. I have expertise. If I'm doing a keynote that's just me, I've prepared that for 20 hours, plus all of the other time that I've put in, all of the professional development I've put in, all of the sort of speech workshops I've taken. All of that goes into my pricing, and then I add a couple of thousand above that.
Mm-hmm. Right on. I want to talk about...
Ask for the money, y'all.
Right on. Let's talk about money. I mean, really. Before you sort of had all of that in place, you start doing this. You move to Vermont, you start doing this. Do you have a business plan?
No, I don't. So one of the workshops that I took at this women's mastermind, it's called "We Should All Be Millionaires," and it's for women. It primarily focuses on the business experiences and entrepreneurship of people of color, but anyone can join. And I was speaking at one of their events, and I'm having a drink at the bar, and this woman comes up to me. She's like, what's your business model? And I'm like, are we supposed to have models? Because I don't know what that is. She's like, well, what do you draw from? What are your buckets? What? I don't have buckets. I don't know what you're talking about. And so, but being in this group helped me gain some business acumen and some language to use. And I saw other women just killing it. And it was so good to see that there were CPAs, there were lawyers, there were all these really cool business owners that were multimillionaires, and there were also people in that group who were just starting out. And so I don't have a business model or a business plan. I do have several different buckets that I pull from. I do some social media creating. I don't call myself an influencer. I call myself a possibility model. I'm a professional athlete. They pay me to athlete, even though I'm not good at those things. I'm a writer.
Brilliant business model.
I just, like you said, I just get to be who I am. I get paid to be who I am, which is really cool, and it's such an honor. But yeah, so even though I don't have a business plan or a business model, I still make it work. I have outsourced a lot of those types of things to other people. I have a CPA company that I work with, and they are phenomenal because I love taxes. I really do. And I love doing them for me and my family, but once I started doing business stuff, it became very, very clear that I didn't know what I was doing. So I had to outsource that. And I think we were talking earlier, I have a person that comes and cleans my home. And a lot of us, are still stuck in a societal narrative of, well, I can clean my own home. But guess what? That gives me like 10 more hours a week where I can focus on doing the things that I'm really good at and not having to I do work out, having to do all the housework that gives me a lot of anxiety and stops me and blocks me in many ways, because I am chaotic. I'm all over the place, as you can probably see, and so I've outsourced that to some other person who's really good at that. She's really good at organizing, and she's really good at cleaning, and she knows my brain. She loves my son. She sends him cookies at college, and because I don't do that, I'm not that kind of mom. And so it's been a learning process. It took me a long time to learn things. I've hired people to help me with my LinkedIn. Don't go and look at it now because I stopped working on it when I stopped working with that person. But yeah, I've had coaches, I've had business coaches, and so something like this is really, really crucial to the community of women entrepreneurs. It's free, wow. And there are so many people willing to offer their advice, and for free, because hiring business coaches is extremely expensive. Thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to work with people who are really good at it. So yeah, outsourcing and really giving yourself the opportunity to do what you're really good at and what you're really passionate about. That's been my business model.
I like it. Starting with the cleaning person. I need one. Oh, yes.
This is Roseanne, by the way.
Roseanne, come to my house. Well, there are some really concrete steps that you just mentioned that we can take to make space for building our economic vitality. And then there are these psychological barriers that we have to overcome. I want to talk about how you ended up in blockbuster superstar Will Smith's house. She almost missed the email. Not to call you out.
Because I still need an assistant, that's why. Okay, so my friend Willard, because that's his name is Willard. Did you know that?
No.
Willard Smith, it's not William. Anyway, so right after I left teaching school, I was on a flight somewhere. I was going to Portland, and you're supposed to shut your phone off and put it in airplane mode, so that's what I did. And as soon as we got into the air, I kept getting text messages from my agent, Margot, and I'm scared of her. So I'm like, what's going on? She's like, have you read your email? I'm like, no, I'm flying. I'm going to a race somewhere. And she's like, I really need you to read your email right now. Okay, so I read my email. Hey, Mirna, it's so-and-so, Lucas from Westwood Studios. We were hoping you would join us at Will Smith's house for a roundtable about to help him decide what activities he's going to do for his new show, The Bucket List. And it was a show that was on Facebook Watch. Remember that? They had a video platform. It doesn't exist anymore. And so I texted Margot. I'm like, Margot, is this real? Will Smith, come on. No, she's like, it's real. I vetted it out. It's a real talent company, and okay. So the next week I find myself at Will Smith's house with 12 other people, and he's like, I wanted to hire the best of the best to advise me on all the things that I should be doing in the world. Things that might be scary, things that are really adventurous, and you're the best adventurers, you're the best writers, you're the best personalities out there on social media, you're the best travel agents, and I'm wondering, I'm like, how did I get here? Like, what? And so we're sitting around in a square, and I'm sitting here. This seat is empty, and then there's some other people going around. The producers had sat me in this chair. And so Will Smith comes in, smelled very good, and he sits right next to me, and I'm like, in my head, oh my. But I was cool, because I'm from Brooklyn. And I was like, how you doing? He's like, I'm good. So he starts with introductions. He starts on his left, and I'm like, oh my God, and this is so much time to like get nervous and anxious. What am I gonna say? How am I gonna introduce myself? And he goes around, there's a woman who's like a monster truck driver, but also like a NASA physicist. There's the editor of Condé Nast Traveler. There's a guy who jumped out of a helicopter to get there. There's a guy who's a BMX Nike-sponsored cyclist. There's all these people. And there's also the guy that like tried to snub me in the car on the way there. His name was Jason. And he was actually sitting in my seat when they were like, that's for Mirna. And he was like, oh. Anyway, so, because he didn't want to talk to me in the car, because in LA, you know, it's like, who do I need to know, right? So he's going around. And Quinta Brunson, who is, if you watch, what is it? Abbott Elementary, yes. She was there. She was the moderator, just in case it got boring. And so she was asking questions. She's sitting right there, and she's asking Will Smith at the end. We had this amazing conversation. Oh, wait, let me back it up. I had to introduce myself, so I'm getting nervous. The camera comes on me, and then, you know, when the camera comes on me, I'm like this. Hello, everybody. My name is Mirna Valerio. I go by the Mirnavator. I am an ultra marathoner, which means that I run races that are over 26.2 miles. I am technically homeless, so if anybody got the hookup, let me know. And I'm a National Geographic Adventurer of the Year for 2018. And so Will Smith looks at me. He's like, wow. Okay. He's like, wow, so like, what's your biggest race? He's like, well, I just finished a 120-mile race in Colorado, and 20 miles a day, averaging 20 miles a day, 20,000 feet of vertical gain. He's like, wow, I don't think I've ever run more than 12 miles. And without skipping a beat, I look at him and say, you're gonna have to level up then. And then in my head, I'm like, oh my God, did I just say that to Will Smith? And then he looked at me and he says, you know, you're right, I have to level up. And then 3 weeks later, I find myself contacted by Westwood Studios again. Hey, can you come this weekend to train Will for his first half marathon? Me? Like, wait, seriously, me? Oh, the producers loved you. You were honest. And you didn't care. And he loved that. And so I got to train him for his first half marathon. And he called or texted me every day. And my family would be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm texting Will Smith. And my son did not believe that I was working with Will Smith. And because he didn't think anything I did was cool. And I was like, he'll think this is cool. And so I had Will Smith make a video for him. And his face, when he opened the video, he was like, oh, you weren't lying. Oh. I was like, you can't tell anyone. Of course he told everybody at his school. But yeah, and I still, like, in his house, the next time I was in his house, I was there for 3 days. I'm sitting on Will Smith's couch. And I'm using his bathrooms.
Yes, heck yes. This is what we need to know, because this is the important stuff, really. We want the scoop. And your life is so vibrant, I'm sure, in a way that has completely changed. Not that it wasn't vibrant, just a different vibrance. Because you just came back from the Alps, if I remember correctly. Like Amazon sponsored it or something?
I was in the Alps, and then I was on a different trip for Amazon out in Yosemite.
Mm-hmm. Let's keep dropping names. What's next? Like, what does the next month even look like for you?
Oh, wow. I'm heading out to Bar Harbor tomorrow to stay at a resort. It's called Terramore Outdoor Resort, and I've done work with them. They are owned by KOA, And I actually know the CEO of KOA because of all that I do. I was also invited to be on the board of my high school, on the board of trustees, which is something that I never imagined being as a scholarship student at this boarding school. And then I taught there, and then they invited me to be on the board of trustees. I'm like, I don't have money like, the CEO of KOA or, the head of the board of the Metropolitan Opera. So, they were like, you have other skills. So I actually became the head of the DEI board. And so now I work with this resort, and this is kind of a vacation, but it'll be a working thing. So that's part of my life now. Like, anything is work, and I don't mind it. I don't mind it because I love doing the social media stuff. I love having the ability to have people live vicariously through me, and to give them access to dreams, to give them access to the potential of going outside of your comfort zone and doing really cool things, and how that impacts your life. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm also, goodness. Oh, I'm singing in a concert next weekend. I'm singing in a concert in California. So, and then after that.
Give us a little.
Oh God. Sure. Okay.
Couple lines.
Okay. All right. So actually, I did prepare for the possibility of singing. All right. So I am an opera singer. I guess I'm going to sing something that is sung in operatic fashion, and it is an African American spiritual called "Over My Head." I won't sing the whole thing. I'll sing some of it. Does anyone have perfect pitch here? Anyone? Does it sound like an A? Roughly. Okay, sure. Thank you. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. There must be a God somewhere. Over my head, I hear singing in the air. Well, over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. There must be a God somewhere. Thank you. Sorry, I sang the whole song.
Amen. Amen to all of that. Amen. Oh, yes, thank you. There is just one last question I have, and I think it will help all of us here. And there are many of us who probably do this already, but it will be really important to hear how you do it and what you advise us to do. How can successful women lift up other women?
There's so many ways that we can uplift each other. First of all, I think, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, I think we need to take care of ourselves first, make sure that we are energized, make sure that we are well rested. None of us get enough sleep, I promise. None of us get enough sleep. So sleeping more and being ready physically and emotionally for your day. And also, and as far as uplifting others, making sure people feel included, making sure people feel like they belong, being invitational, inviting people to experience really cool things, different things, mentoring people. If you have the capacity to do that, I have benefited from a lot of mentorship, and still I have many, many mentors. Having a group, your board of friends, those 5 people you can depend on to be honest with you, and to tell you what's what and to tell you the truth. That's important. And being one of those board members, right? Being one of those board members for either your friends or people who you work with, and really always thinking about creating opportunities for other people. I feel like I'm in such a place of giving now that I can hire people, I can give people opportunities to travel, I can mentor people, I can read what people have written and edit it for them, help them edit it, and I use my skills to help people lift themselves up. And all of us are very skilled at very many different things, and so whatever those skills are, use them to help people advance. I know there's this narrative that women are catty and we don't like to help each other, but the world wouldn't be, the good part of the world wouldn't be the good part without women working together and uplifting people, and so let's just continue that.
I'm going to ask a favor, aside from singing, which was phenomenal. Can we do a selfie with the crowd?
Oh my God, yes, of course, I have my phone.
And also, thank you. Thank you for the raw honesty, the talking about money, the being honest about what is possible, and most importantly, why we have to be ourselves to achieve it. Thank you.
You're going to do it? I was going to do it. But we want everybody in. Oh, are you a pro at this? I am not
Am I a pro at selfies?
You are a pro. I'm not even using
my job.
camera.
It's my job.
Is everybody?
It's a video. Everybody wave. Okay, now we're gonna do a photo.
Oh my
Okay. We're gonna do several of them. All right.
We're getting a little social media lesson here.
Okay. All right. The back camera is the best. Okay. All right. Okay. There we go.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Super fun.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a pleasure. Oh, thank you.
The Mirna for president. Margaret and I so enjoyed that. Julie, that was a fantastic interview. You were wonderful. And the Mirna, oh my goodness. The Mirna for president. Thank you all. And we are delighted that now, after this extraordinary presentation, and where did you learn how to sing like that? I didn't know you did that. What marathon runners sing like that? The Mirna. But now we'll begin our first session of events. So thank you all, and this is going to be a great day. It'll be hard for anything to top this, but you'll be in your sessions, and they'll be terrific too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mirna, Julie, thank you.
If the WEOC Planning Committee and Welch staff could gather right here in the corner, along with Mirna and Julie, please. Senator Welch and Margaret. Have a great day, everyone.